I'm going to finish chapter 10 today because I'm tired of it. I really am. Can you tell? Oh yeah, I'm irritated. You can tell already in the first 10 seconds of this show. And I'm tired of the color too. I experimented with a little color on my studio cam. I'm tired of that. I'm going back to black and white. I'm a stark guy. Contrast, black and white. Give me one or the other, hot or cold. Get rid of this middle ground of gray. It drives me crazy. I'm tired of judgment. I'm tired of waiting. Are you? I'm tired of it. I'm getting tired of the book of Revelation. But look, I'm going to keep going because there's a revelation around every corner of the book of Revelation. Good morning, everyone. Martin Zender. Another fun-filled, adventure-filled day in the calamities of Israel. But it's comforting in a way, as I said yesterday. This was the revelation of yesterday, is that even the calamities of Israel tell us that God is not finished with Israel. He's serious about Israel, and he's going to wrap it up with Israel. And the last 7 calamities are finally the last freaking 7 calamities. That's it. So I'm going to fast forward to one verse, and then I'm going to finish up chapter 10. Here's that verse. I told you I was going to talk about the thunders yesterday. I ended on a great note of the 7 thunders. Tomorrow, the 7 thunders. No thunders. I already did the thunders to my satisfaction. Thunder speaks of the voice of the messengers, reverberates like thunder, and thunder is a result of a lightning stroke. The lightning stroke is faster than the thunder. So here's my interpretation of lightning and thunder. Here it is. And I'm tying it in with natural lightning and thunder. The lightning is an amazing manifestation of electric power. What is electricity anyway? What's that stuff that crawls through your wire and makes your light go on? It's this mysterious energy. Has to do with atoms, I think. Yeah, and neutrons, electrons, protons. Are those atoms? No. Oh, those are parts of atoms, right. Yeah, I took that stuff. No, I didn't take physics. I took chemistry. But anyway, let's get back to the lightning and thunder, because I know more about these than I know about atoms. The lightning is faster. Light is faster than sound. This I know. And the lightning produces such heat that the air moves at such a speed it breaks the speed of sound. And whenever anything breaks the speed of sound, it creates a sonic boom. And the thunder reverberates throughout the land and scares the bejesus out of you. And so the lightning I equate with the act of God, the decision of God. You could say the opening of a scroll. And the thunder is how it plays out on the earth, the reverberation. Right, the reverberation. You could be in your house and you don't see the lightning, but the thunder rattles your windows, so you know that there must have been lightning nearby. And the sooner the thunder strikes, the closer the lightning was. So we know that now God, as a lightning bolt, or a flame of fire, that energy of light is so near to Israel that the thunders are in their ears and it's rattling their bones, rattling their cages, and they are going to be breaking out of their cages. And so that's my take on the lightning and the thunder, an act of God and the playing out of that decision on the earth. And I'm going to fast forward to Revelation 15:1 because I'm tired of it. I really am. I perceived another sign in heaven, great and marvelous, 7 messengers. I'm tired of the number 7. I'm tired of the messengers. I'm tired of there being 7 of everything. I'm sorry, but that's why I'm so glad that at the same time I'm doing this series on the unveiling, people have warned me about it. Don't go there, Martin. You're going to get weird. You're going to get whacked out. You're going to become evil. Well, I'm not. I'm just becoming irritated. You didn't mention that, did you? But that's what I'm becoming. But I'm so thankful that even while I'm doing this, I'm doing the Romans series in print. If you're listening to this series and you don't realize that, go to martinzender.com and go to ZWTF. That's my newsletter. I've been on Romans for a year and a half. 2 years, I think. I've only been on this for a year and a half, but, I'm on this stuff for a long time. Romans and Revelation. Love the alliteration. Maybe that's why I did it. No, it's not. I did Revelation because it's happening. It's impending. We're seeing it play out. And Romans, of course, because that's your peace. That's your joy. Never forget that in the face of these thunders. 15:1, unveiling. I perceived another sign in heaven, great and marvelous, 7 messengers. John had to have it. I bet John, when he came out of this vision and was returned to his day, I bet that guy had to suck down a coconut laced with some kind of alcoholic beverage, because he had to have been whipped. He had to have been spent. He had to have been just exhausted. I would have gone to the tiki bar at Patmos and ordered myself a beverage, a coconut beverage laced with an adult enhancer of some kind. So 15:1, if I can get through it. I perceived another sign in heaven, great and marvelous, 7 messengers having the last 7 calamities. Thank you for using the word calamity. I think that's appropriate. The 7 calamities. Talk about the relative viewpoint, because it is a relative viewpoint. The calamities are going to bring the righteousness. You know all of that. I know I keep saying it, but it's going to become part of your DNA. So I'm going to make a nuisance of myself. For in them is consummated the fury of God. This is the most epic sentence in the entire book of Revelation. And for me today, on this Wednesday, this is the greatest. That's why I fast forwarded to it for you. Tomorrow we're starting chapter 11. How much time do I have? Okay, in 6 minutes, I'm going to finish chapter 10. Wait till you see me. I'm going to go like a bat out of Hades. And then we're going to start chapter 11, which, of course, is the consummation of the fury of God. And you're not going to see it anymore. The fury of God is going to be finished after this. And it's protracted. And I'm almost doing this real time. That is, if it takes me 3.5 years to do this unveiling series, it'll be real time. Because that's how long the calamities are going to last. Now, we're going to finish up on a kind of light note here on the timing issue, because it's only as we look back on the lingering delays in God's program that we realize how excited John would have been to hear that the calamities, the judgments of God are going to be consummated, and that the time is short. Because there has been disappointment after disappointment for Israel. This applies to us too. It's the time thing, as I alluded to earlier. God's secret has to do with time. Acts chapter 1, verse 6 and 7, the disciples asked Jesus before he ascended, "Are you at this time restoring the kingdom to Israel?" He said, "Not yours is to know the times and the seasons," because he had a secret administration to introduce before that. So we know from hindsight now that Israel is being set up for yet another disappointment, that the kingdom was going to be delayed, and 2,000 years have rolled on. And until the middle of that last 7-year period, we talked about way back when in Daniel, the 70th heptad, the 70th 7-year period, the middle of that, you will know for sure when the kingdom will come. It will be 1,260 days after the man of lawlessness enters into the false temple, declares himself God. 1,260 days. I get that from Daniel chapter 12. So there has been apparent delay from the first. And I mean apparent, because as time rolls to us, it's very, very slow. A year is as 1,000, what is it? Calm down, kid. Take it easy, kid. A day is as 1,000 years to God. Lucky him. Lucky God. Oh, well. 1,000 years is as a day. That's what's lucky. To us, one day is as 1,000 years. That's our viewpoint. One day is as 1,000 years. One day passes like 1,000 years. Because we're human. We're little ants crawling along on this fractured planet. But to God, 1,000 years is as a day. And that's where I need to say lucky God. And by the way, when we have the mind of Christ, time will pass that way to us. And I would get upset occasionally thinking that I am going to precede some of my loved ones into immortal bliss by at least 1,000 years, because we know that no unbeliever will raise during the 1,000 years. Only members of the body of Christ will be snatched away before the 1,000 years. We know that there's a great resurrection, the great white throne judgment. So many of the inhabitants of the earth of the past will not even see the light of day until that great white throne judgment. They will have missed 1,000 years. Many people I know and love will miss the 1,000 years. And so I used to think that I'm going to be snatched away and I'm going to be in heaven and the time's going to pass and I'm going to go, God, it's going to be 1,000 years before I can see my dear mother again. My dear, dear mother. I think I don't want to, you thought this, I don't want to even be in heaven if I have to be aware that these people aren't with me. But think about this. You're already aware that they're not with you. Those who have died, they're not with you. You missed them. It's terrible. And now you're thinking, now I'm going to be snatched away and I'm going to have to endure another 1,000 years of not seeing my loved ones? My friends, this requires an act of faith. What I'm about to tell you is that with this mind of Christ, the 1,000 years will pass as a day. I don't know how exactly that happens, because in our resurrected state, we will still be subject to time, because the eons do not consummate until the end of eon 5 after the new heavens and the new earth. But when we have the mind of Christ, time is, how can I even pretend to explain this to you? Time is not going to be as vexing as it is now. In fact, I'll make this prediction to you. It is going to be delicious. It is going to be delicious. Because the anticipation you have, like you got a vacation coming up, or you have like a 3-day weekend from work, or you're going to go do something fun, and you just anticipate it. It's just like, tastes good in your mouth. Well, this is going to be that way. It's just going to be like you're looking forward to some great thing tomorrow, because 1,000 years will pass as a day to us. So, likewise, I felt sorry for Jesus Christ. Poor Jesus. He's been without me up there for 1,000 years. I joke you a little bit there. Let's say he's been without his disciples, his friends. He can't wait to drink wine with them in the kingdom. Hasn't seen them for 2,000 years. So has he been wringing his hands, looking at the clock? Is there a big clock in heaven that just goes? No, there's not. And I can't explain it to you, except that I know that Jesus Christ is not anguished now. He's not suffering. He's not looking at his watch. There are no clocks in heaven, I don't believe. I think there is such a feeling of anticipation. It's so pregnant with joy, this feeling. It's so joyful. It's so anticipatory that it is a pleasure to wait for the passage of time. It's like every year that passes is an enjoyment because of the proximity in the mind of Christ of the goal. The goal then will seem very near. You see, because we approach this now. So I'll speak for myself. I am approaching this now. I am approaching this thing where the goal seems very near to me. And so if I can approach it now in my humbled, weak self, then I can just imagine that when I'm snatched away, those 1,000 years are going to be fun. No wringing of hands. No wringing of anything. No wringing of, what do we wring here? Washcloths, sponges. We wring meaning out of contexts. No, we're not going to have to do any of that wringing. We're not going to wring our hands. It is going to be pure enjoyment in the anticipation of being reunited with our loved ones, because we will be reunited with our loved ones. The latest date for that will be the great white throne, because all the dead, the great and the small, rise at the great white throne. And you will see them then, and it will be a fantastic reunion. That's going to be the biggest event, I predict to you. Mark my words, write this down. And then when it happens, you'll look over at me and you'll go, Zender, you were right. It's going to be the biggest event after the snatching away of the body of Christ in the celestials. That's right. This reunion is going to take place in the celestials. Where? I don't know. It's at the Great White Throne. Sorry, I don't have a zip code for you. I don't have a GPS location. I will. I'll get back with you on that. Until then, did I finish chapter 10? I'm not even sure if I did. If I have any loose ends, I will figure out what those are. I will bring them back to you tomorrow. I'm going to broadcast to you tomorrow from Los Angeles, California. Until then, I'm Martin Zender, your host on the Revelation series.